Right this moment, 47 million Americans are sitting directly in a severe weather zone. That number is not a guess. The Storm Prediction Center confirmed it just hours ago. And here's the kicker. This same system has already been battering the plains since yesterday. We are talking about a cold front stretching from Texas all the way into the Great Lakes. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes, all three threats are on the table today. Stick around because I am going to break down every single threat area city by city. Now, yesterday was no joke. A moderate risk level 4 hit central Kansas and Nebraska hard. Supercells fired up late afternoon and dropped baseball-sized hail across southeastern Nebraska and Kansas. That same system is still churning east today, and it has not lost its punch one bit. The cold front is the driving force here, and it is loaded with deep tropical-like moisture. So today, the SPC has issued a slight risk covering 47.4 million people across multiple states. This yellow zone runs from the Texas-Mexico border all the way up into the lower Great Lakes. Louisiana, Arkansas, western Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, all inside that risk area today. From there, it pushes northeast through Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and New York. Good grief, that is a massive swath of the country dealing with this storm threat right now. Let me break this down clearly. Starting with the threat that worries me most today, wind. Damaging wind gusts of 45 to 65 miles per hour are expected across most of that slight risk corridor. The most intense storms could push gusts up near 70 to 75 miles per hour in isolated locations. Earl in Tulsa, Oklahoma told me last week his roof is still not fixed from the last round. No joke, Earl, another round of 60-plus miles per hour gusts could hit your area by this evening. Now let me talk about the hail threat, because in west central Texas it gets serious fast. Supercells are expected to fire near Abilene and San Angelo sometime around 3 to 4 p.m. local. These storms are capable of producing hail exceeding 2 inches in diameter, no two ways about it. Baseball-sized hail will absolutely destroy a windshield in under 3 seconds flat. If you are anywhere near Dallas, Fort Worth, or West Texas, get your vehicle under cover now. Margaret in Abilene, your area is sitting right in the crosshairs for that giant hail threat today. Once those supercells grow upscale, they will likely morph into a dangerous Boeing line segment. That shift from hail to wind threat is expected to happen during the mid to late evening hours. San Antonio and Austin watch closely tonight as that line pushes south and east through Texas. Corpus Christi, Galveston, and Houston could be dealing with storms pushing through before dawn. Now here is where things get interesting, and this is the part most people are sleeping on. The tornado threat today is real, and it is focused on a corridor you might not expect. The SPC has placed a 2% tornado probability covering 14.1 million people in the Great Lakes. Detroit, Cleveland, Toledo, Buffalo, and Rochester all fall inside that tornado watch area today. Dale Simmons in Cleveland, buddy, your city is on that tornado probability map this afternoon. Isolated spin-up tornadoes are possible as discrete cells fire ahead of the cold front boundary. This is not a big outbreak, but one brief tornado in your neighborhood is one too many. Down in the Ohio Valley, storms will fire up scattered between 3 and 8 p.m. this afternoon. Fort Wayne and Indianapolis expect multiple rounds of gusty, heavy storms through the evening. By 9 to 10 p.m., most of the Ohio Valley storms should start weakening and falling apart. Carol Myers in Cincinnati plan on heavy downpours and gusty winds between 5 and 9 p.m. tonight. Drop your city name down in the comments right now, and I will personally watch your area tonight. Tom's personal radar is locked on every city that shows up your forecast matters to me. Now, the Deep South setup is a bit of a different story from what is happening farther north. Most of Mississippi and central Louisiana will stay below the severe weather threshold today. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour remain the main concern, plus plenty of rain and lightning tonight. Let me zoom in on the storm timing, because knowing when to expect this is half the battle. Across southern Oklahoma and northern Arkansas, storms are already cranking up this morning. By lunchtime, that activity pushes into Missouri with damaging winds possible near Springfield. Around 2 to 3 p.m., a line of thunderstorms stretches from Cape Girardeau down into Dallas area. Planning an afternoon commute from Tulsa to St. Louis, leave early or just wait it out. Between 3 and 5 p.m. is when the highest threat period begins across Indiana and the Ohio Valley. Families with kids getting out of school in Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati be at pickup early today. The peak wind threat in the Great Lakes corridor falls between 4 and 8 p.m. tonight. Detroit and Toledo residents should have their phone weather alerts turned on before 3 p.m. today. By midnight, the Ohio Valley threat clears, but Texas and the Gulf Coast stay active through the night. The line of thunderstorms that has been ongoing since this morning will continue pressing east. It will push into western Tennessee and Mississippi after midnight, gradually losing its teeth. Bob Simmons in Memphis, you are on the edge of this system and could see overnight storms. 2 to 3 inches of rain are possible in short time windows, especially in already soaked areas. Flash flooding is a real secondary threat tonight across the Central Plains and lower Midwest. Weather Prediction Center has flagged Missouri, Iowa, and surrounding states for flood watches. Turnaround, do not drown. That rule applies tonight if you encounter any water over the road. Sandra Phelps in Kansas City, your area could wake up to flooded roads by early Wednesday morning. Now let me shift gears and tell you about what is coming Wednesday, and this still matters. Wednesday's severe weather threat shrinks considerably, but 58.3 million people are still watching. That is the population under a marginal risk across the Mid-Atlantic on Wednesday, May 20th. New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Boston, and Washington, D.C. all fall inside that risk zone. Frank Hollister in Philadelphia, Wednesday afternoon could bring strong damaging wind gusts your way. The threat there is mainly scattered severe winds and hail from a few fast-moving storm clusters. Mid-Atlantic residents should not write this one off just because it is a lower-tier risk. Meanwhile, down in southwest Texas and eastern New Mexico, Wednesday brings isolated supercells. The high terrain of West Texas will fire storms with deep shear capable of supporting large hail. Lubbock, Midland, Odessa, San Angelo, and Del Rio all watching for possible large hail Wednesday. That storm near Odessa could try to organize into a supercell with a non-zero tornado chance. It is a low-end tornado risk, plain and simple, but the hail threat there is the real story. Good news for Thursday, a genuine breath of fresh air for the country. Day 3 brings no severe risk areas forecast anywhere across the lower 48 states on Thursday. Widely scattered storms are possible across the northern Rockies, southern Florida, and the southeast. But those Thursday storms are expected to remain subsevere, no tornadoes, no large hail. That break gives emergency managers in storm-weary communities a chance to breathe and recover. However, do not get too comfortable because the pattern wants to reload heading into next week. Now let me talk about what this pattern actually means for the rest of spring across the country. We have been running a very active trough pattern for the last 3 to 4 days straight. A giant upper-level low has been parked over the Rockies, spinning off energy shot after shot. Each one of those energy shots has produced the significant severe weather you have been watching. After Thursday, that upper-level low finally moves on, and the pattern transitions to something new. The new pattern brings a wet but slightly less explosive severe weather setup for the southern tier. Think more marginal and slight risk days rather than the enhanced and moderate risk setups of this week. Genuinely good news compared to the last 4 days, but it does not mean all clear. A low-pressure system sitting off California is already pumping Pacific moisture into the plains. That moisture surge is the wild card that could juice up the next severe weather window noticeably. A low-pressure system sitting just off the California coast is surging Pacific moisture northward. That setup is going to keep the southern plains, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas on edge all week. Mark my words, the next legitimate severe weather window is shaping up around May 25th to 28th. Memorial Day weekend into the following week is looking very active across the southern tier. Between May 24th and June 2nd, rainfall totals across Louisiana and Texas could be extraordinary. Ensemble models are showing a 10-inch mean rainfall signal for parts of the Gulf Coast corridor. This is a feast or famine pattern. The Carolinas have gone nearly 2 weeks without meaningful rain. Meanwhile, the Deep South has been hammered repeatedly with round after round of storm activity. So where are you watching from today? Are you in the slight risk zone or further out? Drop your city and state in the comments your area gets covered in my updates tonight. I check every single comment. Your city on my radar means you get the latest intel first. Y'all, the Southern Plains is flat out entering one of the wettest stretches in recent memory. Between now and June 2nd, rainfall totals from Louisiana through Arkansas could be genuinely historic. Rivers that are already running high from last week's storms have very little room left to absorb more. The Arkansas River, the Red River, and the Missouri River systems all deserve close attention this week. If you live near a river bottom or flood-prone area, move valuables up to higher ground today. Flooding kills more Americans each year than tornadoes do, and it sneaks up every time. Just 2 feet of rushing water sweeps a car off the road. That number should scare you. Turn around, do not drown. That rule saves more lives than any other single piece of advice. Now let me address the folks who are in the Mid-Atlantic corridor watching Wednesday's setup build. New York, Philadelphia, and Baltimore Wednesday afternoon is not a write-off. Stay alert afternoon. Let me circle back to the top 47 million Americans sitting in that risk zone today. That number alone tells you this is not your ordinary springtime pop-up thunderstorm afternoon. When a cold front of this size drives into a moisture-rich environment, you get organized chaos. Lines of thunderstorms can develop and push damaging winds 100 miles ahead of the front boundary. Clear skies at noon mean nothing by 4 p.m. The situation can flip way too fast. Do not wait for thunder to start making your safety plan. Get that done before lunchtime. If you're in Kansas City, St. Louis, Chicago, or Indianapolis, storms are possible this afternoon. Chicago sits right on the northern edge of the slight risk, and gusty storms could impact the city. Detroit and the surrounding metro area remain in that 2% tornado zone through early evening hours. Ann Arbor, Jackson, and Lake Erie areas watch for spin-up tornado potential between 1 and 6 p.m. The lake effect adds moisture and instability that can catch storm watchers off guard up there. Now, for anyone out there who has outdoor plans this evening, here is your honest-to-goodness warning. Do yourself a solid and download a weather alert app before you head out the door today. Multiple warning methods is not overkill. It is the smartest move you can make today. Burn this into your memory if you hear thunder. You are close enough to be struck by lightning. Get inside a sturdy building immediately, not a car, not a pavilion, not under a tree. I want to know, which city are you most concerned about watching tonight for this storm system? Let me know in the comments and I will give you a real-time update on your area tonight. Bottom line on today's setup, share this with your family before tonight. Here's the bottom line on today's setup. I am taking you through it city by city. San Antonio and Austin sit in a tricky spot, wind threat through the evening with heavy rain. By midnight, that storm line pushing south through Texas will reach Corpus Christi and the coast. Houston and Galveston residents should wake up Wednesday morning to find storm remnants clearing out. Moving north Little Rock, Arkansas is in a zone where damaging gusts hit 55 to 60 miles per hour. Memphis and Nashville both fall inside the slight risk area and need to watch through tonight. Over in Missouri, Kansas City and St. Louis are both tracking a significant wind gust threat today. Storms pushing through Missouri could produce isolated 60-mile-per-hour gusts during the afternoon hours. Bob Simmons in St. Louis, that storm line presses through your city around 5 to 7 p.m. Now let me pull focus to the Ohio Valley. This is where things get complicated and interesting. Indianapolis sits smack in the middle of the risk zone with scattered severe storms this afternoon. Cincinnati, Dayton, and Columbus are all watching for damaging wind gusts between 3 and 9 p.m. today. Carroll Myers and Dayton have storms organized near you. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are within reach. Pittsburgh and Cleveland sit on the eastern edge, where the tornado 2% zone overlaps the wind threats. That combination of wind and tornado potential near Cleveland is something I am keeping a close eye on. Frank Hollister up in Buffalo, your area stays on watch for spin-up tornado potential into the evening. A separate batch of storms may develop in New Hampshire and Vermont this afternoon, too. That New England activity poses mainly a damaging wind threat, but it catches people off guard every time. Ask yourself this question: do you have a solid shelter plan ready? If you live in a mobile home anywhere in today's risk zone, please take this seriously today. Mobile homes offer no protection from tornadoes or 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Get to a sturdy structure early. Dale Simmons near Toledo, if you live in a trailer park, please have a shelter plan ready. Community tornado shelters, churches, schools, and brick buildings are all better options than riding it out. Now let me talk about the long-range picture, because the next 2 weeks tell a compelling story. After Thursday's break, the pattern begins reloading Friday with a weak shortwave moving over the Rockies. Friday could bring a small, severe weather window across Oklahoma, Kansas, and the Central Plains region. Then over the weekend, that system tracks into the Ohio Valley with another potential localized severe threat. Saturday and Sunday are worth watching for anyone from Indiana through West Virginia and western Pennsylvania. Then you get into Memorial Day weekend, and the signal for that time frame looks impressive. A deep moisture plume from the Gulf of Mexico is expected to surge northward starting around May 24th. That setup, combined with an ejecting trough over the Rockies, has all the ingredients for a big event. May 25th through 28th is the window I am watching most closely for organized severe weather. Mark my words, from Texas to the Ohio Valley, stay weather aware heading into that week. Something that does not get talked about enough: storm fatigue is a real danger. When communities get hit by storm after storm over multiple days, preparedness fatigue sets in fast. People think the radar cries wolf, and that is when a dangerous storm catches them flat out. Do not let that happen to you. Every single storm deserves the same serious attention. Sandra Phelps in Kansas City, you have been hammered all week, and today is not the last. Stay heads up. Even if the last storms fizzled on you, this system has real teeth today. Let me circle back to something from the SPC morning forecast discussion that really stood out. Modestly enhanced mid-level southwesterly flow today is helping organize storms across the Ohio Valley region. That upper-level flow is the key difference between scattered showers and a genuine damaging wind threat. When that flow aligns with a destabilizing air mass, even marginal setups punch above their weight. That is exactly what happened in Kansas yesterday, a setup that looked borderline produced moderate risk damage. The same atmosphere that hit Kansas yesterday is now pushing into your neighborhood today. Stay sharp. I kid you not. The overnight hours could be the noisiest part of tonight across Texas and Louisiana. That line of thunderstorms pushing through San Antonio will continue grinding south toward the Gulf Coast. Corpus Christi and Victoria Bay City watch for a big cluster of storms before Wednesday's dawn. Even Houston and Galveston should brace for one more round of heavy rain before this whole system exits. And way out west in New Mexico and West Texas, an entirely separate severe weather story unfolds tomorrow. Isolated supercells near Fort Stockton, Odessa, and Del Rio on Wednesday have serious hail potential. Every family watching this should write down or screenshot what I am about to say tonight. Step 1. Identify the safest interior room in your home on the lowest floor, away from windows. Step 2. Every family member needs to know that spot and reach it in under a minute. Step 3. Keep shoes, a flashlight, and your phone charger in or near that safe room tonight. Step 4. When tornado warnings fire in your county, go to your safe spot immediately. Mobile home residents have zero protection in a tornado leave before the storms arrive, not during. Communities that lost homes in last week's storms are still cleaning up. They cannot afford another hit. That is why early warnings and early action matter so much more than any technology ever invented. I also want to give a heads up to anyone planning outdoor activities for this coming weekend. Memorial Day weekend is still 6 days out, but the pattern developing looks anything but quiet. Deep shear values in that region will support long-lived supercells capable of golf ball-sized hail. That Day 2 hail threat covers roughly 73,000 square miles of Texas and New Mexico combined. Lubbock and Midland residents, do yourself a solid and protect vehicles and outdoor equipment Wednesday. Now here is what nobody is ready for about this entire stretch of weather, the rainfall totals. Missouri and Iowa could see 2 to 3 inches of rain falling in just a matter of hours. In areas that have already seen repeated storm rounds this week, that rainfall is not going anywhere fast. Streets flood before drains can keep up. That is how cars get swept in flash floods. The Weather Prediction Center has flagged the Central Plains and Midwest specifically for flooding concern. If you encounter water over the road tonight, turn around, do not drown, no exceptions ever. It is a rule worth repeating because people lose their lives every single year ignoring that one warning. Let me bring this home with a summary of everything covered and your action plan for tonight. Day 1 today, 47 million people, slight risk, wind and hail lead threats, tornado watch, Great Lakes. Day 2 Wednesday, 58 million people, marginal risk, mid-Atlantic wind and hail, West Texas supercells. Day 3 Thursday, no severe risk anywhere, just scattered sub-severe storms across the Rockies and Florida. Beyond that, reload begins Friday, escalates Memorial Day weekend, and peaks around May 25th to 28th. Drop your city and state in the comments right now, and I will personally watch your area tonight. Every comment becomes a data point. I want to know where my viewers are watching from. Tom's personal radar works like this. Your city stays on my watch list until storms clear. Now stay weather aware, keep multiple ways to receive warnings, and do not get caught off guard tonight. This busy, relentless stretch of severe weather still has more chapters left to write across America. The next round is already building out west. When it arrives, you need to be fully ready.